All right, welcome. We're playing game two of our Koufax 1966 experiment. Let's take a quick peek at what Koufax did in his last game. Let's look at the last game. Actually, the last game went into extra innings. It ended in the bottom of the 14th, and Koufax went 8 innings in that game, and he had given up 3 runs, 3 home runs. He gave up 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits, 4 hits. He had a no decision, and we're filling out the data here at the bottom. Let me show you that. He had a no decision. Went eight innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned runs. Base on balls, he had two base on balls and 8 strikeouts. Okay, and actually in that game, I think I don't. I should have had the data for that game. I don't. I will have it. Let's look at the game we're playing today. Let's look at that. And let me pull that up here. We're going to be playing a game in which Koufax got the win. He went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, no runs, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts in reality. See how he does in this game. It's going to be the Cubs versus the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. It's April 17th, 1966, and we're going to get started right away. Should not take long. Now, I did some homebrew modifications. There were some players that I did not have. I have only, I think, this set of cards comes with 25 players. There were a couple of players that had a few at bats, but they actually played in this game for the Cubs. And one of them is Carl Warwick, and I found a guy that was identical in stats. And I just put Carl Warwick. I wrote a little on a little post-it, and I just stuck his name on there. I got these in sleeves. And the other player is going to be Roberto, and I have Roberta. I don't know why. Got to fix that. So it's Roberto Pena, and he's playing shortstop. He played just a few games, and I found a player that was identical to him. And then finally, Larry Jackson. He's the third player. He just pitched in 3 games that year for the Cubs, and I found a D pitcher, but this Larry Jackson has a W instead of a Z. Okay, so we're gonna put in Jackson, L Jackson, with a W, and we know he's a D pitcher, and then Koufax is an XY, and he is an ACDC. And we're gonna get started. We're playing Appa Basic, Sandy Koufax, experiment, see how he does compared to how he did in his season. Here goes Carl Warwick leading it off. It's gonna be a 25. A 25 is a 9 against an A pitcher. That's a ground ball to the shortstop. 1 away. Next is Beckert. Don't know. There he is. Okay. Next is Beckert, and then Billy Williams, and then Ron Santo, and then Bacabella, and Banks, and Pena. Okay, there you go. So here is Glenn Beckert, and that's going to be a 42. That's going to be a fly ball to right field. Right fielder Fairley puts that away for out number 2. Hey there, Jerry. How are you, man? Long time no see. And it's a 35. A 35 off Billy Williams' card is a 14, and that's going to be a walk because Koufax has no Z on there. So Billy Williams walks. So with 2 out, it's Ron Santo, and that's going to be a 64, and that's going to be a caught stealing There goes Williams. Here's the throw, and he's out. No, he's safe. No, he's out. So that's the third out of the top of the first. Cubs get none. Yep, it's good to have a game. That's for sure. All right, so let's see, Santo. So Santo was up when Billy Williams was thrown out. So here we go. The Dodgers are bringing up Maury Wills, the father of Bump Wills, and that's going to be at 25, and that's laced for a base hit for Wills, and he goes on the next pitch, and he's safe at second with a stolen base. So there's a runner on second. Wills is on second with nobody out. Jackson on the mound, and here's the pitch to Wes Parker. It's a 41, and that's going to be, oh, okay, this is not going to work for me. Okay, a 41, and we didn't add up the numbers, so we're going to just play it off. I'm sorry, it was a 41 is a 24, and it's a 6-4-3 runner on second base. And that's a pop-up to the shortstop for out number 1. So Parker's a 5. We're going to do that. Fairley's a 2 in the outfield. Wills was a 9. Santo is a 5. And I could do up to the guys that batted. Williams is a 2. Beckert is a 7 at second base. And Warwick, going to make him a 2. Bocabella is the left fielder. He's a 1, according to APA. Ernie Banks is going to be... Where's Banks? He's going to be a 4 at first base. Pena is going to be an 8. And Hudley is going to... He's a 6. Hudley's a 6. Okay. So we got that done. And then Jackson's going to be a 1. So that's 11, 16, 17, 21, 29, 35, 36. So they're going to be a B. All right. So it's going to be Ron Fairley, third place batter for the Dodgers. He's a lefty. And that's going to be a 35. And that's going to be a 40. A 40 is fly out, runner to third on catch, S out at third. So that's a fly ball to the right fielder. Billy Williams tagging up is Wills. He makes it to third, so there's 2 outs now. Runner on third, and it's Frenchie Lefevre. Here's the pitch, and that's a 26, and that's a fly ball center field. And that's Warwick for the third out. So no score at the end of 1. We go to top of the second. See Ron Santo leading it off. That's a 13, and that's ball 4. Second walk allowed by Koufax. Say 16, a 28. Our shortstop is a 9, so he's going to be... That's going to be a fielder's choice for out number 1. Bocabella, who's slow, he's going to play it safe. He's on at first. Here's the pitch to Banks, and that's going to be a 66. And that ball's hit deep to center field. Back goes the center fielder Davis to the track, to the wall. Looks up, it's out of here. 2-run, home run, Ernie Banks. And Koufax wishes he had that pitch back. Threw him a hanger. Roberto Pena now, 2-0 Cubs. It's a 53. That's going to be a 17. Our right fielder is a 2. So a 17 is a single to right. So Pena on at first. Pena is regular speed. Well, at shortstop, he'll probably be fast, so we'll make him fast. Don't really know. And it's Randy Hudley. And it's a 54. That's lifted to right. Back goes the right fielder Fairley. Puts that away for out number 2. And Pena back to first. Now it's the pitcher. That's a 61, and that's a strikeout. So the Cubs score 2 runs on the 2-run home run by Ernie Banks, and they lead at 2-0. Go to the bottom of the second. In the bottom of the second, we're going to see Sweet Lou Johnson, the left fielder, Roseboro, the catcher, and Willie Davis, the center fielder. Lou Johnson, it's a 17, and that ball is lined base hit to right field. Johnson went the other way with that one. So Johnson's on at first. Gabby Roseboro, 25, and that's going to be line drive base hit, and that's going to send Johnson to third base. So back-to-back singles. Runners on first and third now, and it's Willie Davis, and that's going to be grounded right at infield's playing back, and that's grounded right at the shortstop. He goes to second for 1, back to first. It's a 6-4-3 double play, but a run scores. There's no RBI, and it's Pee Wee Oliver against Jackson. And that's a 63, and that's lifted to center. Center fielder Warwick there for out number 3. But the Dodgers pick up 1 run on 2 hits, and the Cubs lead it by a score of 2-1. We go to top of the third. It's going to be the pitcher. Nope, it's going to be the center fielder Warwick. Warwick grounded to the shortstop in his first at bat. Here's the pitch, and that ball is hitting to the gap. And it's going to be cut off quickly by the center fielder Davis, and that's going to keep Warwick to a single. Man, if that would have gotten by Davis, at least a double, but potentially a triple. Beckert now with a runner on first. And that's a ground ball to shortstop. That's going to be a fielder's choice. Not in time back to first base. So that's 1 away. It's Williams now, Billy Williams. Billy Williams walked in his first at bat and was thrown out trying to steal. That's a 53. That's going to be a 15 with a runner on base. The left fielder, Johnson, I believe, is a 2. Let's double check that. Koufax is a 1. Oliver's a 6. Davis is a 2. Roseboro's an 8. And Johnson's a 2, just like I thought. Lefever's a 7. All right. So that's a 53, and that's going to be... We just lost a W on the pitcher's card. Put that there. All right, 53 is a 15 with a runner on first. That puts us under the fielding 2 column. That's a hit by pitch. Runners on first and second now. And it's Ron Santo. Here's the pitch from Koufax. That's a 34, and that's lifted to center field. In a few steps is Willie Davis for out number 2. Next is Bocabella. John Bocabella, the left fielder for the Cubs. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be a 35, and that's a swing and a miss. Bocabella down on strikes. So after 2.5, it's 2-1 Cubs. We go to the bottom of the third, and it's going to be Koufax leading it off, Wills, and then Parker. Here's the pitch from Johnson. It's a 53 again, and that's a strikeout. So Koufax down on strikes. 1 out. Next is Wills. Wills singled in his first at bat. This is going to be a 42 here, and that's going to be lifted to right field. Right fielder Williams is right there. 2 away. And Wes Parker. That's going to be a 24, and that's a swing and a miss. So Parker down on strikes. So that's 3 up, 3 down here in the bottom of the third. Go to top of the fourth. It's going to be Banks, who had a 2-run home run in the second inning. Pena, and then Hundley. There's Banks. It's a 54. That's lifted to deep right field. Back goes Fairley to the track and makes a nice running catch. 1 away. On the top of the fourth. Score 2-1 Cubs. Here we're playing game 2 of our Koufax experiment. 21, and that's lifted to left field this time. Left fielder Johnson right there. Hundley, the catcher. It's a 24. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. That's strikeout number 3. And we go to the bottom of the fourth. Fairley's leading it off against Larry Jackson. Ron Fairley, 36. That's a base on balls. So Fairley on at first, and Fairley's going to play it safe since he's got an S on his card. He's a slow batter. It's going to be a 31. That's ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit, and Fairley's going to stop at second. So runners on first and second. Lefevre is 1 for 2 on the day. Next is Johnson. He's singling his first at bat in the second inning. So runners on first and second with Sweet Lou Johnson. It's going to be 23, and that's a ground. Let's see what that is. It's a 26 with runners on first and second. The second baseman is a 7. 26, that's an infield pop-up. So it's a pops to 4, the second baseman. 1 away. That's a 56, that's a 34. 34 is going to be a pop-up again, but this time it's going to be to the third baseman, Ron Santo. Makes the catch for out number 2. So after getting the first 2 batters on, 2 pop-ups, and now it's Willie Davis. It's up to Willie Davis, and that's a 52. It's a 27. Santo is a 5 at third base, and that's going to be a hard hit ground ball right at Santo. He steps on the bag for the force. So Larry Jackson manages to get himself out of first and second and nobody out. And we go to the top of the 5th. Larry Jackson, the batter. Say 64, that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 4 for Sandy Koufax, the southpaw. It's a 54, that's lifted to right field. Right fielder Fairley there. Out number 2, and next is Beckert. 66, and that's going to be a 0, so that's going to be lined into the gap. And that's going to roll to the wall, and hustling to get it is Davis. He gets it in quickly. Beckert thought about going for 3, but decides to stop at second. So it's a 2-out double for Beckert. He's 1 for 3 on the day. And next is going to be Billy Williams, who walked and then was hit by a pitch. Billy Williams has a decent card. As you can see, he's got a 4, a 5, and a 1 at 66. And he's got 7s at 22 and 44. Do we walk him and pitch to Santo? No, Santo's got a better card. Yeah, so we're going to pitch to Williams. It's going to be 61. That's going to be a 40 with a runner on second. I do not know what that is. It's a fly ball to right field. And the right fielder makes a catch for out number 3. Fairley puts that one away. So the bottom of the 5th now. It's 2-1 Cubs. In actuality, Koufax won this game. He was removed in the 6th inning, gave up only 5 hits and no earned runs. So far in this one, he's given up a 2-run home run by Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub. Pee Wee Oliver. And that's going to be lifted to left field. 1 away. Koufax next, and that's a 28 ground ball to the shortstop over to first. 2 away, and Wills. That's line base hit for Maury Wills, and he's got good speed, so no, not going to go. Parker. That's a 35. That's going to be a base on balls. So runners on first and second here with 2 outs in the bottom of the fifth. It's 2-1 Cubs. And it's Ron Fairley. Now, Ron Fairley is looking pretty good. He's got 7s at 22 and 44, and he's got a 1, 5, and a 6. That's going to be a 21. That's going to be lifted to center field. And the center fielder, Warwick, is there for out number 3. So again, Larry Jackson escapes trouble. And we go to the top of the 6th, 2-1 Cubs. The reason I like playing these older seasons is you get to not have to make so many pitching changes. And it just makes the game kind of roll a little quicker. 26, and that's going to be ball 4. So Ron Santo manages a walk, and that is walk number 1, 2, 3, and plus a hit by pitch. So he's allowed 3 runners on walks and 1 runner hit by pitch. It's going to be Bocabella. Bocabella is going to swing away, and he's going to swing and a miss for strikeout number 5 for Koufax. That's out number 1 in the inning. We're in the top of the 6th here. It's 2-1 Cubs. The Cubs have Ron Santo on at first. Now Santo is slow, so he's going to be going station to station. Hey there, guys. I think it's Al. All right, 45. You can see that 45, and that's ball 4. 4th walk allowed by Koufax, and that puts Santo on at second now. So it's Ernie Banks is on at first. Santo is on at second. And you can have Roberto Pena, the shortstop. That's going to be a 35 with runners on first and second. I believe that's popped up. And that's the shortstop calling for it. Waves everybody off, and that's Wills. Pop 6 for out number 2. Runners on first and second with 2 outs here in the top of the 6th is a 2-1 Cubs lead. And it's Randy Hundley. And that's going to be a 24, and that's a swing and a miss for strikeout number 6 for Koufax and out number 3. So Koufax gets himself out of trouble here in the top of the 6th. And no runs, no hits, but 2 men left on base. It's going to be for the Dodgers here in the bottom of the 6th in a 2-1 ball game. Cubs are up. It's going to be Lefevre leading it off. Lefevre is the third baseman for the Dodgers in 1966. And that's going to be a 65, and that's going to be popped up, I believe. And that's going to be to the catcher behind the plate. And Hundley makes the catch. Out number 1. Next is Sweet Lou Johnson. Say 51. That's line and base hit for Johnson. So Johnson's on at first. He's fast, so he's going to be taking the extra base if need be. Here's Roseboro, Gabby Roseboro, the catcher. The pitch from Jackson. And that's a 23. That's a ground ball hit right at the second baseman, who flips to the shortstop. Back to first. Not in time. Roseboro hustles down the line and beats that. So 2 outs now. And Roseboro's on at first. Willie Davis, the center fielder for the Dodgers. He's batting 7th today. Usually bats 3rd. Not exactly sure why. His card doesn't seem to be too shabby. Doesn't have many walks. It doesn't have any walks at all, practically. He has a walk at 36, and that's about it. So probably not a very good on-base percentage. All right, here's the pitch, and that's going to be a 56, and that's popped up with a runner on first. It's going to be a 34 on the card, and that's the shortstop calling for it. Pena, out number 3. We go to the top of the 7th, 2-1. Yeah, well, I don't know about that. Only 2 runs so far here. We're in the top of the 7th. He does not have his usual control, although in this card season, APA does not give him a Z. So I don't know exactly. He must have had more walks than usual. I believe he would. You'd figure a guy like him gets a Z, but no. And our buddy Johnson here just wrote on the card. That's not good. All right, ruin that. All right, so let's go. It's Larry Jackson, the pitcher's up. It's going to be 33, and that's going to be a ground ball to the third baseman. Over to first, one away. Carl Warwick, the center fielder, 22, and that's popped up. Third baseman, he's right there. Out number 2. With 2 outs now, it's going to be Beckert. Beckert hit a double. He's 1 for 3 today. And that's a 23, 27. That's a strikeout. Strikeout number 7 for Koufax. Go to the bottom of the 7th. It's still 2-1 Cubs. All right, it's Oliver. And Oliver grounds out to the second baseman, over to first, 1 away. Next is Koufax. We're going to let Koufax bat. 62, and that's a 12. A 12 is a ground ball, third baseman. Santo over to first, out number 2. And with 2 outs, it's Wills. Wills is 2 for 3. Hit single twice and stole a base. 62, and that's a ground ball right at the third baseman. Guns it to first, and Wills is out by half a step. So that is all for 7 innings of play. We go to the top of the 8th. 2-1 Cubs. It's the Koufax experiment, 1966. Using APA Basic. It's going to be Billy Williams and Ron Santo and Boca Bella. 56, that's going to be a strikeout. Strikeout number 8 for Koufax, 1 away. Ron Santo. Santo is 0 for 1 with 2 walks. And that's a 32 ground ball, second baseman. Oliver over to first, 2 out. And John Bach Bocabella, 22, and that's line base hit for Bocabella. So Bocabella's on at first. He's slow, so he's going to be going station to station, but that means Koufax has to face Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub. That's going to be lifted to center field. And Davis runs it down for out number 3. We go to the bottom of the 8th now. 2-1. Pretty good ball game here. Parker. Wes Parker leading it off against Larry Jackson. 25, that's line, and that's a base hit. So, oh, wait a second. 2-1. Yep, that's a base hit. He went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he would be a C pitcher now. Let me double check these. He went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if a D pitcher goes 5 innings, he becomes a C. And that's a 25, and that's going to be an out. Oh, goodness. That's a pop-up to the third baseman. Out number 1. So Jackson, whose ERA I believe was 8 in 1966, is pitching a heck of a ball game here against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. Ron Fairley, and that's lifted to left field for out number 2, the bottom of the 8th. It's a 2-1 Cubs lead. And it's Lefevre. Lefevre has a pretty good card. I think this is one of his better years. He has a 1 at 66, a 5 at 11, and a 6 at 33. And that's going to be lined, and that's a base hit. That's an 8. And it's going to be Sweet Lou Johnson now. Lefevre's slow, so he's going to be going station to station. Maybe we should pinch run for him. Let's see, who do we got here? Oh, we got Gilliam. All right, he's another third baseman. So Gilliam's going to pinch run. Going to write him in. Gilliam runs for Lefevre. in bottom of the 8th. So 2 outs, and Gilliam is on at first. Here's the pitch to Johnson. Oh, I thought that was an 11. It's a 12, and that's a hard hit ground ball right at the second baseman. He flips to the shortstop for the force. So that's out number 3 in the bottom of the 8th. Go to top of the 9th now. Top of the 9th, and Koufax is going to face Pena, Hundley, and the pitcher Jackson. 61, that's a fly ball right field. Ron Fairley there for out number 1. Randy Hundley, say 35, and that's a 38, so I believe that's a ball. 63 now, that's a fly ball lifted to right again. Fairley is there. 2 outs, and the pitcher Larry Jackson, 35, and that's a strikeout. That's strikeout number 9 for Koufax. So, folks, this is the bottom of the 9th. Let's see what happens. Otherwise, Koufax is going to get his first loss. He'll be 0-1. Actually, with this game, I believe he was 1-1. He lost his first game, which in our replay he did not. So there we go. We got that going. There we go. So it's going to be Gabby Roseboro to lead it off. Roseboro was 1 for 3. He singled in the second inning. And our pitcher is a B pitcher now. That's a 25. And as a B pitcher, that's going to be a fly ball lifted to center field. Out number 1. Willie Davis next. 42. And that's going to be a swing and a miss. And that's going to be Johnson or Jackson's 1, 3. Oh, I have 3 there. Wait a second. Should be 2. That's his 3rd strikeout. And out number 2. So we leave it to Pee Wee Oliver. But you know what? We're going to bring in a pinch hitter. See who we got here. Show you some of the cards. There's some of the guys. The Bull Ferrara was on this team. John Kennedy, another third baseman. He's fast. He could have run. Who else we got going here? Shortstop, Ducky Schofield, Dick Stewart, Tommy Davis. Yeah, Tommy Davis. Let me see. I didn't write down that who really played in this. Go away. Up here I do. I have a bunch of guys up here. All these guys played for the Cubs in this game. I don't know who saw. We'll just heck with it. Tommy Davis is going to pinch hit. Tommy Davis for Oliver. Bottom of the 9th. Okay. Last chance. Tommy Davis. Oh, 66. What? we needed to bat somebody with a 1 at 66, man. That would have been a tying home run. 46, and that's going to be a double. So a pinch hit double for Tommy Davis here in the bottom of the 9th inning. And Koufax is up next, and we're going to have to bring in a pinch hitter for him. And I don't know who we're going to bring in. Who do you guys want to see? Let's get some votes here. What difference does it make, right? Let's see. Jeff Torborg. Oh, my goodness. Wasn't he an Indian manager or something like that? Dick Stewart. Anybody? Double the TD. So where do we go here? Who do you guys want? Tommy Davis. Yeah, Tommy Davis just pinch hit a double. Tommy Davis is on at second base. So we need a pinch hitter for Koufax. Who do we do? Barbieri, Torborg, Stewart. Stewart it is. Dick Stewart. Okay, so Dick Stewart. Stewart for Koufax. Bottom of the 9th, and he's going to be he can be a B. Write the letter in there. All right, here goes. Dick Stewart got a 7-22. We're against a big pitcher right now. So, oh man, had wow, I rolled a 66 when I pinch hit Davis. Who told me? Who told me to pinch hit Tommy Davis instead of Dick Stewart? We would have had this game tied. All right, I got to blame somebody. All right, here goes. Here goes. And that's a 14 that's going to be lifted to center field. And that's the ball game. So Koufax loses the ball game. The Dodgers leave the tying run at second base with 2 outs. And they lose it 2-1. Koufax gets the loss here. He goes 9 innings. He gives up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. Not too bad. He gave up 5 hits in reality, but in this game he gives up 2 runs, 2 earned runs. He gives up 4 walks, but he strikes out 9, and he gives up 1 home run. In reality, he gave up none. So anyway, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's right there. So in reality, he got the win. Here he gets the loss, right? Gets the loss. Got the win. We get the loss. He goes 9. In reality, he went 6. Both times he gave up 5. Here he gave up 2 runs. In reality, he gave up none. And now we got to start adding up what he did in game 1. And then we're gonna kind of keep track, somewhat, of doing that. And I have to get that together. Where's the game 1 data? Here it is. Yeah, game 1. So we can add it right here. Game 1, he went 8 innings, so that's a 17 total. 9, because he had 4 and 5, and then it's 3 and 2, so that's 5, 5. And then it's 4 and 2, so that's a 6. So 8 and 9 is 17. And he gave up 4 home runs so far. And he's 0-1. So we have to look and see. We have to look and see where he's at in reality, and we'll write that in. And then we'll use this for the third game, for game 3 of our Koufax experiment with using APA Basic. I'm not sure who they play next. I have to look up the schedule. I'll get to it at some point. It's hard to see. I had a hard time reading this die because you can see through it, and it's a little bit distracting. I guess I got to get used to it a little bit. I just wanted to try some different dice just to mix it up, so I'm not always looking at the same thing. It gets tedious. I mix up the scorecards. I mix up the dice. These are 2 12-sided dice. Sometimes you use a 12 and a 10. That's how APA does it. But I decided I was going to use 2. And I know the dark one is always the first number, and the light one is the second number. But it's kind of hard to see with the glare from the lights, and I don't know. And also you see right through the dice, or the die, if you will, and you can see the other numbers on the other sides, because I forget what they call these. I call them see-through, but I don't know what they call them. I can't remember what these type of dice are called, that you can see through them. So anyway, guys, all right, it was good seeing everybody and saying hello to everybody and having some fun with some APA tabletop stuff. I watched a couple of good games tonight. Watched an amazing game, the Cardinals and the Pirates. The Cardinals, the top of the 9th. It was 5-5 game. Up comes their catcher Cervelli, hits a 3-run shot, puts the Pirates up 8-5. And then, lo and behold, bottom of the 9th, Cardinals score 5 runs, and they win it on a walk-off home run by Munoz. Kid looked like he was 18 years old. What a shot. Tremendous shot, center field, no doubter. And the Cardinals pull off a walk-off. Yep, if you get a chance, you got MLB.com, check that out. And they win it 10-8. I only watched 1 inning of that game because I was watching the Met game. And Met game was not very good. Seth Lugo did a good job for 4 innings, and then they pulled him. He was a starter. Starters now go only 4 or 5 innings. Depressing. And everybody's injured all the time. I never saw pitchers who pitched so little yet they're always injured. They're always going for MRI. Their fingers are sprained and I don't know what's going on, man. But yeah, every one of the relievers that the Mets brought in after Lugo had shut down the Cubs gave up runs. So that wasn't the way to go. But managers think, hey, that's the way to go. They don't want the pitchers to face the lineup 3 times in a row. So the data, everything goes by data. Nothing goes by feel or how the guy's doing or if the guy is on. And some days, man, you can be on, and no matter what the data says, you're going to beat the data. It's like saying, hey, you're a 300 hitter, lifetime 300 hitter, right? But for the first 2 months, you're batting 200. Hey, the data says you're 300, but now you're batting 200. So anyway, I'll let you guys go. Um, I'll be back this week, tomorrow, Friday. I don't know. Maybe Friday. Maybe tomorrow I'll do another game. I'll stream another game. So that's it. 1966 Koufax experiment. Koufax loses it by a score of 2-1. His offense does not support him at all, or his lack of offense. His offense does not show up. But Koufax goes 9 innings, gives up 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, 9 strikeouts, and 1 home run. It was a 2-run. Take care, guys. Talk to you soon. Have a good night.